Video number 144, angle measures between parallel lines and a transversal. Here are the vocabulary words that you will see. Now actually this lesson usually comes after a lesson in 1 and 3 being called vertical angles, 1 and 4 being called supplementary angles, 3 and 4 supplementary, 2 and 4 vertical. Okay, now, and same pattern over here. This comes after that lesson in geometry, in this case trig. The very beginning of trigonometry. Corresponding angles are angles that are in corresponding positions. So that would be angles 1 and 5 are a pair of corresponding angles. 3 and 7 correspond with one another, so they are called corresponding angles. Angle 4 and 8 are corresponding angles, and you can see how this could continue, and there's one more, angle 2 and 6. All right, alternate interior, a pair of interior angles on opposite sides of the transversal. So, here's angle 3, 4, 5, and 6 are on the inside, the interior of the inside of the parallel, quote unquote, possibly parallel lines. We don't know if they're parallel or not. And even if they were not parallel, we would still consider 3, 4, 5, and 6 the interior angles. 1, 2, 7, 8 would be the exterior angles. So 3 and 5 are alternate interior, 4 and 6, alternate interior. Alternate exterior, 1 and 7, 2 and 8. Same side interior angles. Well, now we're on the inside, but we're talking about the same side interior. So 4 and 5 are same side interior, 3 and 6 are same side interior. You'll also see these referred to as, what are they called? I forget what they're called now. Oh, consecutive interior angles. That's right. So some textbooks will call them consecutive interior angles. So 4 and 5 would be consecutive interior, or you could also call them same side interior. All right, same side exterior, 1 and 8, 2 and 7. All right. Now, when the lines are parallel, which is indicated by the following symbol, you'll see something like this. Well, we can actually figure out all 7 of the other angles. Okay. In this case, we have a 50 degrees. We should know from before these vertical angles are congruent, and then also the supplementary angles add up to 180. So you'll have a couple 130s and another 50 on this side. Now here's the beauty of what happens when you have parallel lines. When you have parallel lines, you just take all 4 of these angles and just copy it over here just as you see it. The acute ones are going to be 50s, and the obtuse ones are going to be 130. All right. Why is this 130? Because it's the corresponding angles theorem, where if the lines are parallel, then the corresponding angles are congruent. Why is this 50? Because of the alternate exterior angles theorem. The alternate exteriors are going to be congruent when the lines are parallel. All right. Let's take an application, solve for x and y. Well, in this problem, as we can see, and what we'll do is we'll cover up part of the work here so you can just see the logic. That's what you may be thinking as you're doing this problem. The logic is this. These 2 angles, oh, by the way, this was the pattern we were supposed to summarize. Here you go. Let's go back to that diagram we just had up there with the 50s and 130s. Now this diagram here, take a look at any 2 angles. Any 2 angles in this diagram, any 2, are either going to be what? Congruent or supplementary. Any 2 angles in the diagram are either going to be congruent or supplementary depending upon the position. All right? And that's going to happen whenever the lines are parallel. These 2 angles here, supplementary. These 2 angles here, congruent. And that's just the way it's going to work whenever the lines are parallel. Now, which position are these 2 angles in? Well, one of them's acute, one of them's obtuse. Well, they're not congruent, therefore they are supplementary. This would be supplementary because of the interior angles theorem. Whenever the lines are parallel, the same side interior angles are supplementary. All right. So then we just add the 2 angles up, set it equal to 180. 5x, 110, that gives you a 70. You get x is 14. Bam. All right. Then we want to solve for y. Well, guess what? This angle is corresponding to this angle. Therefore, they're congruent. Therefore, whatever this is, which turns out to be 68, because if x is 14, then you just plug 14 in here. So you'll get 2 times 14 plus the 40, that's 28 plus 40, that's 68. Therefore, 5y equals 68. Therefore, divide both sides by 5 and you get 13.6. All right? So questions or concerns, please send me an email. Good times.